Omid Scobie insists that he's the true victim in this Dutch translation error. This whole racist row is caused by this damn lady, this Dutch translator who translated the wrong names. It's all her fault, right, Omid? Except that it's not. She's come forward and admitted that she translated the book that's in front of her. And now she's being defamed by Omid and others, and her whole career is now on the line. Thankfully, Dutch Translation Union has stepped up to speak out against Omid. And one can hope they're closer to setting up a lawsuit. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and look, I feel bad for this woman. I don't want to cause any more stress or attention, but I do want to defend her. And if you don't unfamiliar, this is the Dutch translator listed in the book, Saskia Peeters. Worked with Omid's controversial book and insisted the names of the two royals at the center of the racism scandal were in the manuscript she was sent. It was there in black and white, as she said. And she said she doesn't want to really be involved in any of this further, except she's an expert who's written this, translated numerous books. She's incredibly well-versed in what she does, and she was shocked and nervous at the firestorm that her translation caused. She did not say when she received the manuscript from Xander, but she said the pages were distributed between herself and fellow translator Nellie to transcribe. When the book's author had denied the names were in the manuscript, she said, "I don't know why you would say that. I've been translating for many years. It's the first time anything like this has happened. This is not something I wanted to be involved in. This has been upsetting, and I do not want to talk about it much more." She clearly wanted to put the record out there, and I'm glad she did, but she doesn't want to keep being reminded for this. She made it very clear that this was what she translated. This is what the book that was given. And many other translator experts have come forward talking about how unthinkable it is that translator would mention names that weren't in the English version, especially such a sensitive matter. It doesn't make sense. As a book translator, you do what's in front of you. I think they must have used a version with the names on it. But this is the problem. Peeters has over 20 years of experience translating from English and Dutch. So many books, from works of fiction to cookbooks. They've translated Nicholas Sparks, Wilbur Smith, so many. But now she's very upset and considering all options along with the palace over what to do over this defamation issue and this directed attack that it's her fault. There's so much opportunity here. So again, kudos, and I hope this Dutch translator group, this union, if you will continue to. They've spoken out against, and thank you, Royal News Network, for putting this attention to this. They spoke out against Omid's despicable attempt to deflect blame from his own mistakes, and his agent must apologize for their lies. So here it is, as we translate through Twitter translation. I don't speak Dutch, sadly, but here's what they translate their tweet to say. "Throwing translators under the bus for slip of the pen in British Royals book is disturbing," says Anne-Marie Coper, chair of the translators section of the Authors Union, today in the Volkskrant. Now, when I go to the Volkskrant, it's sadly, I can't get it. Even when I translate it and get that translation to work, it doesn't really give me much to read opinion. As we said, the Dutch translation of The Final Battle, the identity of the two members of the royal family who allegedly made racist statements is accidentally revealed. It's unfair that the translators are suddenly being blamed in the midst of all the commotion. And she's right. She's right. Now, if anybody has the unlocked version, I didn't know how to unlock this in Dutch. I had to pay it in Dutch. I just sadly couldn't get it in time. But there's enough in here for me to warrant that, yeah, if the union's upset, if the author's upset, the translator's upset, there's enough here for a lawsuit. And imagine, think that through for a second, guys, because let's be clear, the Royals are probably not going to do anything. They don't like to do lawsuits. They don't want to cause more damage, and they don't want to open discovery themselves. However, if the translator does it, it would sort of put it towards this claim, and that would open up some, well, where did it come from? That could open up the door to get a lot of the questions that we want to open up discovery to see how involved Omid really was. Where did this come from? Where did these allegations come from? How could this be part of it? That discovery would be glorious. So I want to start willing it into the world that the translator, the union, whoever, someone involved in that side, someone outside of the royals who's affected by this, who've been defamed by Omid, claiming he's the victim when he's not. I want them to step forward, because if Omid's the victim, he should sue. Let's figure out where this all came from, Omid. Reveal it. He's not going to do that, obviously. And I don't think the royals are going to do it. Meghan and Harry aren't going to do it. But this poor woman, that puts her in an interesting spot. Could she actually do such a thing? I think that would be quite interesting to send her some love and support. And what does she need? Finance? I bet you we could rally enough funds for her to sue it. I want to will this in existence. It's on my my motion board, or what's it called? My dream board, vision board. Sorry, is what I'm trying to go. Let's all put it on our vision boards and hope, because this is a key to getting that puzzle solved. Potentially, if she's willing. It's a big ask, but let's throw it out in the world and see what happens. Because the reality is, yeah, this is something that you can't just do. In old age, maxim to always blame the translator. When something goes wrong, fingers often point at us. But our work is more crucial than people know. And this is an article, opinion piece written, publishing, talking about how important this is. And he tells a lot of stories. It's a good article that you can go look up. But they talk about this Dutch translator. Omid Scobie's book was released by Xander, a Harlem-based publisher. It contains something absent from the original. The names of royals is supposedly speculated about the skin color of Archie. One of the translators spoke to the Daily Mail. As a translator, I translate what's in front of me. As a fellow translator, I understand very well her outrage at the insinuation that she added the names. Translation is like rubbish collection. People notice it only when something goes wrong. So often use metaphor as a whiff of disrespect, which in turn can lead to scapegoating, as game as old as translation itself. Whatever goes wrong, blame the translator. Back in the early days of the profession, the Dragonians of Ottoman Empire knew what dangerous business they were in. One of them, Alexander, a powerful figure in the 17th century, moved in between the Sultan's court and prison. Anyway, he was jailed and fined, either over some mistake he made when interpreting or simply because someone had it in for him. This is something that's going on for a very long time. Mistranslations are unavoidable when you're working under time constraints, etc. But the translators of book were given the original to transcribe a slip showing how little is understood about the translation industry. As anyone familiar with publishing knows, books, even in one language, harbor numerous potential sources of error. An editor circulating a draft, say, and neglecting to send an update, followed by copy editor failing to spot the difference, each additional link in the chain, for instance, when an agent is involved, the risk of communication increases. Whoever was responsible for the offending passage, it's hard to imagine the translations in that translator in that role. Yet their employer seem in no hurry to clear up the confusion. Neither Zanda nor HarperCollins, Scobie's UK publicist, has responded to many requests for comments. Translation is an art, a craft, a trade. It's a practice that few understand, but many criticize. This game involves three main players: the source, the target, and the intermediary. Two of them are unable to fully grasp what's going on, so when they start losing, their instinct is to blame the one in the middle. The latest AI advances mean that certain translation jobs can be automated. In some cases, it's a win-win, yet there are examples demonstrating that it's not as safe as entrusting dustbins to robots. Machine translation tools can result in your asylum application being refused or your car illegally being searched. The world will always need real translators and not as the first people to blame for rubbish piling up on the page. Journalist, translator, and author of Dancing on the Ropes, Translators and the Balancing of History. So she knows. So again, this is something that's been up for debate, and it shouldn't be. And I hope that enough people will get to this woman and send her the support that she needs. That Saskia, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Man, I hope you would get some legal counsel. Let's open up that discovery. I would love to see where this truly came from, because I don't believe whatever Omid's going to say, if he even says anything at all later. Where did this all come from? Let's get to the bottom of it. What do you think, guys? Should she? Are you frustrated that this is still even happening? I want to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here to Popcorn Palace. Hit that bell, hit that button, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below. In fact, we are going to be live. In fact, we're probably live right now if you just are catching this in your feed. Head on over to Popcorn Planet. Join us live. We're talking royals and other pop culture stories. I'd love to have you there. Come hang with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you guys so much for watching here on Popcorn Palace.